I'm John Terode and you're watching Joburg Today.
About a week ago, Mayor Herman Mashaba accepted an apology from the Sowetan newspaper relating to one of the stories they published where they accused the mayor of hiring his wife's company to assist with the insourcing of security personnel. However, prior to that apology, the mayor released a press statement indicating that he had referred himself to the city's ethics committee following those allegations, as he had nothing to hide. We decided to contact Mayor Mashaba to understand exactly what transpired between him and the journalist who wrote that story. You're certainly sending a strong message to the media in general when it comes to accurate and fair reporting. Was this your first run-in with the media in terms of inaccurate reporting where they did not abide by journalistic ethics?
But this one, I think it's more than, it's actually more than wrong reporting. This was malicious. This was an article to actually destroy my reputation, my integrity, including my wife. And, it wasn't, all of us as human beings, we can make mistakes. But this was not mistakes. This was deliberate. The deliberate attempt by this journalist working with the NC to actually destroy my character, and including my wife.
And this story was based around the decision taken recently to insource 4,000 security guards. And in your statement, you said that the reason why this happened is because people were unhappy with that decision. Please shed more light on that. You
know what happened? I'm sure you're aware. You absolutely were here last year when during the State of the City address, I made a commitment to our people that I am going to insource security implementation by the 1st of January 2018. I looked at what we were paying security officers. What we are paying? We are paying as a city between 14 and 16,000 rands. And the poor security guard that every day I've got to go through looking after the buildings of our residents. The poor person, man or woman, they are being paid 4,100, 4,500 rands with no benefits. But I'm paying, public money is being used to pay tenderpreneurs. I said, no, this can't be. This cannot really allow to continue under my watch. But then, unfortunately, working with people with the malicious intent, report after report coming to the mayoral committee for me to approve, it's actually demonstrating to me that it's going to cost the city more to insource. And just over a month ago, I got really very angry. I rejected, not even withdraw reports. And I said in a mayoral committee, I said, if you think you can sabotage this exercise of me insourcing, it's going to happen. I'm delayed and I don't have time on my side any longer. I've got men and women that are waiting for me for the implementation. I will then have to really get someone to assist me to do this exercise. And I said, I don't really have the time to go for tenders and wait for months on end to run this exercise. I said, you know what? Fortunate enough in my experience in business, I have lots of friends and people that I know that can assist running this business. And in that mayoral committee, I engage group governance. I engage our legal people. I said, guys, what is am I allowed as a mayor of the city of Johannesburg that I can get someone to assist us in modeling this? Because if I'm paying 14,000 rands as a city, but the poor person who's providing the service is getting 1,000 rands, and this report are telling me it's not possible, I said, I'm not buying in. Tell me, how can I speed up this? I want to get someone with financial skills to assist me work out the model that I can prove to you. And without any doubt, the governance and the legal people said, as long as the person that is going to advise you does not have any interest in the city, does not do business with the city, it's a free service, the person knows that he's doing this for free. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. And I've immediately, before even approaching someone, engage my coalition partners to tell them, guys, I'm sorry, I'm delayed in the implementation. I'm working with people who would not want to see me executing this. It looks like they're working with outside forces. Do you guys know of any financial person? I do have, but I'd like you to give you the first opportunity. No one had, and fortunate enough, the very same evening, I contacted a former colleague of mine to tell him what I want, and someone that has done financial modeling for me for many years. He was willing to do it. A few days later, he was here, introduced him to the team. I said, work with this guy, showed him what I'm paying as a city per security person, and what I would like to. I said, I cannot at this point in time determine how much I will pay, but I believe with what the city is paying, the salaries of these people can substantially improve. Within 2 weeks, the person came, presented this model, and I was invited to that meeting. Demonstrated to us that with the city, with the 14,000 rands that we are getting, the salaries of the lowest security guys will improve by more than 50% immediately. Some of them will earn take-home pay will earn between 9 and 11,000 rand. And over and above that, the balance, we will use this to put in the infrastructure to run, because we must buy them uniform, we must get them supervisors and so forth. So we've got enough fed, because for us as government, we don't run this as a profit center. Yeah. But the reason why some people are against this is because for years they've exploited our poor people, and all these tenderpreneurs, unfortunately, they were the biggest benefactors of the ANC. So basically, obviously, this matter has got massive financial implications for the ANC to feed this ANC machinery. But that cannot really be my problem. Sure. My responsibility is to look after our poor people and the residents in particular.
Can you say with confidence that people were enriched at the expense of security guards?
Well, if the city was paying 14,000 rands and the poor security guard was getting just over 4,000, what do you call that? And this was allowed by ANC to continue all these years. That is why ANC is still determined to stop this from happening. I think shame on them.
Sure. Mr. Mayor, when that Sowetan journalist contacted you, did you give him this response? Did he give you an opportunity, a right of reply to respond to the allegations that were being made?
What is actually quite sad about this particular journalist, the first question that he sent me, I've got it on SMS. The first question for me that he sent was, Mayor, can you confirm that your wife is not involved in the company that is doing the institutional review for the city of Johannesburg? I then phoned him back. And I said, what do you mean my wife is involved with the company that's doing is part of the company that's doing the institutional review? I said, my wife has got absolutely nothing to do with this particular company. And then he engages me, actually insisting that my wife is involved. I then said to him, Mr. Mujaji, I said, you know what, let's not waste each other's time. Tomorrow is Monday. Please get your ANC person who's giving you this information, because he said that this information comes from the ANC. I said, please get your ANC person. Let's meet tomorrow in the High Court in front of the judge. We then give our statements under oath, because one of us is lying. Perhaps I'm lying to you or the ANC. I'm happy to subject myself to that. I said, please, let's get a judge. I can give the statement under oath. Him and the ANC refused. And 2 hours later, he sends an email with the names of my wife's businesses. He says, do these businesses do business with the city? I said, Mr. Mujaji, actually, you are harassing me. You are honestly abusing me. I did indicate to you, I gave you an offer. I said, you know what? I'm no longer asking you and the ANC. I'm insisting, I want you to give me the answer by 5 o'clock today. Whether you give me the time, what time we meet in court, so that we go and give affidavits, so that you don't have to deal with rumor. Past 4, he now phones me, sends another SMS. Now it's no longer about institutional review. It's not about my wife's businesses doing with the business with the city. Now it's about insourcing. He says, now the SMS says, Can you confirm your wife's company, Lepati, doing business, being engaged by the city to do the insourcing of the city? My goodness.
Yeah, that is a form of harassment. You are not even given an opportunity. You were not even given the background of the story from what I'm understanding to respond appropriately.
But I said to Mr. Mujaji, now the last 4 hours, now you're coming out with something new. I said, if it's to do with the insourcing, let me give you the insourcing. And exactly what I told you, how I went around getting an advice for the insourcing. Because when this individual assisted me, when Akhtar assisted me, he assisted me in his personal capacity. It's got absolutely nothing to do with his business or where he works. He helped me as someone who's got the expertise. He assisted us to give us an idea on how we can structure this. On that, immediately I issued a press statement. That is why a few weeks ago you had an interview with MMC San after making the announcement that we are ahead with the insourcing. And I apologize to all the security people because I was supposed to have implemented this by January. Unfortunately, I was working against the tide, people working with the NC to ensure that I don't insource. But we are going to insource our security people. Actually, this coming Sunday, there's an advert going out where we are looking for the head of this cluster, because obviously we need someone to ensure that you understand, because people work shifts and so forth. So this weekend there's an advert coming through, and I think on the 26th of this month I'll be making a bigger announcement on the actual implementation. And once I'm done with the security, the next one is cleaning, because I have men and ladies, mainly ladies, cleaning our buildings, working through tenderpreneurs. That is coming to an end. These men and women are going to be employed directly by the city of Johannesburg. So, but firstly, let me take on the 4,000 security guys, and then from there, then follow up with cleaning and all the other the services where we used to use tenderpreneurs. The city is going to do that themselves.
But on the other hand, Mr. Mayor, you received a very confident report from the Auditor General recently. Just give us a sense of his comments and also what are some of the challenges that lie ahead for you? Look,
one thing that we must not really be naive. I've inherited a city with 170 billion rand infrastructure backlog. So for anybody to expect me to address these issues in 1 or 2 or 3 years, I think it will really be unfair. And actually that's something that even the Auditor General indicated to me. He says, Mayor, please focus on your work. Keep on what I need to see improvements on what you are doing. One thing that the Auditor General is happy about, it's the tone that is coming from the political and administrative leadership of this country, of this city, in terms of what I'm articulating. My challenge is to ensure that I can get all the employees of the city to work with me so that I don't have people who are sabotaging us. Secondly, to make sure that I can manage the expectations of our people, because this city was projected as a world-class African city with no problems, where the previous mayor was on every billboard in the city, was on full page of every ad, projecting himself to be an international mayor of the world. In the meantime, forgot that, you know what, the city's got over 181 informal settlements where people out there don't even have ablution facilities. That is what he forgot. That yes, you can be project yourself to be an international mayor. Unfortunately, people on the ground, our people, the money that you are using to travel all over the world, the money that you've used to promote yourself and your image, this is the money that should have actually went out to improve the living conditions of our people.
Sure. Mr. Mayor, at a provincial and national level, what kind of support are you receiving or recognition for your work when it comes to fighting corruption in the city and some of the other policy decisions that you've taken, even though it's disturbed certain quarters in the opposition ranks?
Well, I'm sure you can understand people who have been looting this city would not really be happy with me. They are fighting. In fact, even yesterday in council, every time you talk about forensic and fighting corruption, they don't think, in fact, they think I'm mad. They think it is my time to eat. That's how it is. Looks like this is in their DNA. For them to get in government, it's about being time for them to eat. They don't realize that I'm not here to steal public monies. I'm actually here to protect public monies and use it effectively. So I know in the process of fighting corruption, some people are not going to be happy, but unfortunately that has got nothing to do with me. We will ensure that every cent of public monies that we collect, we use it and use it correctly. And I think we're going to focus our energies the next 5 years in making a difference to the lives of our poor South Africa, the residents of the city of Johannesburg.
Sure. Now that you've actually referred yourself to the ethics committee, what happens from here, even though the Sowetan has apologized to you? Is there still going to be some kind of investigation?
Well, I think the Sowetan has apologized, but I think it is up to the integrity commissioner and the speaker's office to take this matter further. As far as I'm concerned, whatever they want to do, it's up to them. It's not up to me. And the Sowetan, yes, they have apologized as much as did not apologize to the extent of how they damaged my reputation. But I'm happy to move forward in my life because I've accepted the apology from management of Sowetan, because it's not the Sowetan that was failed me. I was failed by this journalist. They were misled. And it's up to Sowetan, if they're serious about dealing with this matter, to take appropriate action against this particular journalist, because he did so much damage to Sowetan as an organization. They did so much damage to press freedom. They did so much damage to the profession of journalism, because journalists are supposed to be independent people. Yes, we are human beings, but you cannot be used to drive a political agenda by political parties.